Sup guys, it's your boy Justin with our third to last X-Men month review. The camera stand is busted. Literally, this is one of the legs for the camera stand. So I have to use a pencil holder to hold it up. So today we're reviewing the Star Trek X-Men crossover. This is like a one-shot from 1996. We had a friend of the channel, Spoony Bard, who did a review for this. So shout out to Spoony Bard. Maybe check out his review because it's going to be... His review is actually edited and he does breakdown the whole thing. I'm not going to do a breakdown of the whole thing. I'm just going to do a quick review. So this is published by Marvel Comics and Paramount Comics, which I have not read a lot of Star Trek comics. I'm not a huge Star Trek fan. So yeah, this is written by Scott Lobdell, who was writing a lot of X-Men comics in the 90s, and you have art by, like, look how many people worked on this. You got Marc Silvestri, worked on the first 26 issues. You got Billt Tan, worked on pages 22 through 25, 27 through 37. Anthony Winn, pages 38 through 40, and David Finch worked on, like, page 26. So it's like, holy crap, man. So this is like, I guess this is 40 pages. So this comic book is about the original crew of the Enterprise. Well, there was, what, Pike first was captain before Kirk, but like, yeah, who gives a crap? Is, give me a sec. I should start over, but screw it. So yeah, you have the crew of the Star Trek Enterprise is checking out this anomaly in space. And really cool art where they see this spaceship that gets blown up, and the spaceship turns out to have the X-Men on it, which infiltrate the Enterprise ship. And they also encounter the Shi'ar Empire that show up because the space anomaly connects our world, the X-Men world and the Star Trek universe, which they say later on is supposed to be two separate like realities. But then, like, when Spock meets the X-Men and they said they were mutants, he's like, as in Homo superior. What the hell? So I thought they were supposed to be two separate universes, but it's implied, hey, you know. It was like a little bit of a pothole. So here we see Guardian literally punch the ship of the Enterprise, and like Captain Kirk's like, did he just punch my ship? It's like, what the fuck? So yeah, the whole reason why the X-Men are in space to begin with, because they were asked by Leandra, basically the Empress of the Shi'ar Empire, though it's called the Majestrix, to hunt down, asked the X-Men to hunt down her sister, Deathbird. So they're on this ship, and they have, like, they encounter the crew of the Enterprise. You got Spock meets up with Wolverine and them, and our guys here meet McCoy, Bones. So there's obviously a funny scene where the nurse is like, Dr. McCoy, and you got, like, these guys are like, what? Because they're both named McCoy. So I don't know if Hank was always supposed to be like a reference, or, like, you know, a thing to, like, you know, McCoy. I have no idea. But by the way, look at this shit. Look how fucking short Wolverine is compared to everybody. He's even shorter than Jean. I'm like, what the fuck? Was he always supposed to be that short? So yeah, here we have the scene where Wolverine faces off against Spock. Yeah. Which Wolverine has his bone claws. This is during the 90s when Wolverine had bone claws for whatever reason. So here we find out what was going on is basically Gary Mitchell, who was like a reality warping, like, god from Star Trek, who was a normal officer, became a god somehow in some random episode of Star Trek, fuses with Proteus And now they're in cahoots with Deathbird, which is Leandra's sister. So obviously there's the X-Men team up with the crew of this Enterprise, and they have to take down Gary Mitchell and Deathbird. So yeah, really cool art, by the way. And there's some cool like strategic planning, sci-fi planning. They don't just like, you know, butt heads. There's also butt heads. They actually did like some actual strategic planning. Yeah. So you also get this cool cover gallery. That one's by the Dodsons. This one's by Mike Deodato Jr. You got Steve Epting there. You got Gary Frank worked on this one. Joe Bennett. Pascal Ferry and John Dell worked on that one. You got... I like this one. Yeah, and then we also get previews for other X-Men comics. So what do I think about this comic book? It felt very rushed. Not rushed, but yeah, I don't know. It's just like... would have been like, this would have been nice if this was like a mini series and not basically like a two-part. This is basically like a double-sized comic book. For what it is, it's not bad, but I paid like almost $10 for this, and there was some there's some like water damage or something. Like it's all crinkly here. The cover's all kind of faded, as this rush texture to it. Obviously, it was faded by the sun or something. So yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the quality of the comic book, considering I paid almost $10 for this. But I don't know. It's the thing where it's a cool little crossover. I thought, hey, it would have made more sense for it to be the next generation, because since, you know, this is the 90s X-Men, so it would have made more sense for the 90s X-Men to team up with the 90s Star Trek. But the reason they picked the OG crew is because they had like a villain who had like reality shaping powers that they can use as excuse to team up the two guys. So team up the two teams. Also, there is political talk and blah blah blah, but because obviously Star Trek's a little political, and you have the X-Men, which were dealing with race relations at the time. They were using the mutant allegory as like, you know, political tool or whatever to talk about race and shit, because the 90s were fucking crazy with that shit. Probably, I don't know if it's worse than if back then it was worse than it is now, but it was bad. So I don't know. I would say for what it is, it's a solid 7 out of 10. Really good art. But it's like, why the fuck couldn't they get one artist to work on it? They had to have like fucking 4 different artists to work on this comic. Like, what the fuck? But yeah, it was for what it is. It was good. All right, guys. Peace out. Our next review for X-Men month, which I'm probably gonna upload tonight, is X-Men Days of Future Past. Or maybe I'll just post this Saturday, and I'll post the last review on Sunday. Which this is gonna be the last review for Sunday, for X-Men month. Peace out.